So guys, as I promised yesterday's video, we're going to be talking about rare battles today. We got some lists from rare battles and then kind of just suggestions on like how I would go about expecting like could get you first to get that winner card, because that's what we're here for, those winner cards. So hopefully we make top 4 with these lists. So without further ado, let's get in the video and talk about it. So I'm going to go with this already designed for players. So first off, best to wins are the ones that are most likely going to take those first slots. Could win is decks that'll most likely could definitely beat them, but it's like that tier 2 category, right? And then better luck next time are lists that just would not hold up. They're just that terrible. But we're only going to be talking about the first 3 because I can't give you a confident answer to Code Geass until I've played enough games of Code Geass. Right now, I can't confidently say anything, but to be honest with you, the 3 decks straight out of the box for Code Geass, I think, are solid enough that all could win very going into it. But, like, there are restrictions already placed in Code Geass, so we're not going to have to worry about red dominating the whole event. So, you know, the pizza deck, everything like that, I think they're all best to win on that, and I wouldn't have to go any further on that info. But, you know, we got regular rated Bleach, and then the, you know, purple Bleach, and then raidless Bleach, which is hyper focused on Renji, are all great decks, and I expect these to definitely take first place in a lot of the events. There's no way they won't, just because of how removal works in this game. You're walking into a format where, you know, raidless is a very powerful deck already, and it even shows now that it's still a very powerful deck going forwards. So I definitely think those 2 definitely have a greater chance of winning the events than normal, just because of how they play, raidless and the Ichigo version. But with Byakuya following shortly behind, then Toshiro, the, you know, Kenpachi Toshiro deck definitely doing some well. Captain Yamamoto could definitely do something if your locals isn't flooded with, you know, the good boy Toshiro. As long as that happens, you know, Captain Yamamoto is very scary. He is a 5k beat stick that just really applies a lot of pressure and damage. And then yellow raidless Bleach could definitely do something. I could definitely see it reaching top 4s. It kind of splashed in a little bit here and there. Even on local levels, it splashes in very comfortably. So, but anything like the pure rated version and then the zero cost rush deck that was popping up, better luck next time. I really don't recommend bringing those pure versions. If you're playing the rated version, raidless Bleach yellow, you might actually have a better standing chance. And then, you know, all these have good values. But let's take a quick look at some of the lists, shall we? So taking a look, here's one that just posted today, or just yesterday. You know, he took first place. He played a green Toshi Yamamoto deck, a Toshi Kenny deck, and a yellow rush deck. And it's just what you kind of expect. The Byakuya list, like I said, could definitely win, and this presents itself as a possibility because, again, you're not facing Kurapika, which is your worst kind of face into. This is now focused on using like Renji to rush and then Byakuya to kind of just clean up house when it comes near end game, which is not bad. I think this is a very powerful way of playing the deck and could have some uses. This one actually topped as well, actually several events. This is the raidless Bleach. He's got 4 winners, so he is all set. So yeah, I mean, raidless Bleach does raidless Bleach shenanigans. You know, you're going to expect the deck to do well, and it's going to do well. Then another list as well. This one, Dueling Guard, brought to my attention. Oh no, it's just the symbol on that. This man brought it to my attention, so I wanted to showcase it. It's another raidless Bleach style. Does have the 3-cost Renji in the list, so it can raid Renji a little bit more consistently, which is not bad actually. All across the board, the list really is solid, and he got his first place with it. Good job, man. Then we do have another one, a Fury deck. This one is another Byakuya list, just to kind of show you what you guys can work with. I kind of wanted you guys to feel comfortable at taking a look at these lists and just have a good idea and sense of what you're going to be walking into with your Bleaches. You know, then you have the Toshi deck, you know, just common base Toshi strats, Toshi plus, you know, Unohana with consistency, with, you know, Yamamoto to give some much value to itself. You know, all across the board, really solid deck. There's nothing I would really scream change on it. Then we do have the, from Eggman's event, the lower to the ground version of Toshi with, you know, Kenny, you know, Kenpachi Zaraki, just staying lower to the ground because you only have to play on 4. You don't have to waste a lot of resources, so it's never bad. Then you have the raidless list from Eggman's events as well. This deck plays well. I mean, you have Metalize, and then you're just playing at 5 is like your energy cap. So if you can get to that, you can just keep slamming bodies on board and just have your opponent have to answer. This deck actually has so many 4Ks, it's not even funny. You can just have a bunch of vanilla 4Ks keep coming swinging, and then all you have to do is just rage your Asnauts and Jugurums near the end just to apply the final game pressure. Then we do have Yamamoto. Yamamoto still does great things. Yamamoto was still topping the format before, so it can do it again. I think it has a lot of potential. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, just taking a look here, Yamamoto can do Yamamoto things. With it being able to apply the pressure, it can. Now we're getting into, you know, Hunter x Hunter. So these two are better luck next time categories, because if they're separate, they have a little bit of struggle. But if you combine them, the hybrid version does quite well by itself. So you might be wondering what's going on here. So we have Kurapika, Gon, I think are your best to wins, their best bets. And even Gon took first place. So just keeping that in mind, Gon versus Kurapika, the meta, you have a better shot because you're just focusing against Kurapika. And if you're trying to beat Kurapika, you'll have a better matchup idea because all you have to do is make sure you're just playing in a better axis than Kurapika. So, and a lot of players have had a lot of experience related to that. I think slots have a great going into it kind of feel because, again, it can definitely answer and remove a lot of threats. I think slots, you can assemble the pieces of Exodia and you have a better shot at winning than most decks. Killua was the hybrid version where you had Killua plus the bombers and boom, you were all set. Then you have bombers itself. Bombers can do some crazy shenanigans as well and still do some damage. And then you have the hybrid list, and I wouldn't really recommend Zoldix and Crollo by themselves, but the hybrid, definitely a step above that you want to be. So taking a look here, this is kind of just a standard stock Kurapika list with melodies in it, and you just apply pressure from there. And the deck does well. It just, nothing I would change on it. You kind of understand what Kurapika is going to do just because of the ability to snipe and raid and just apply pressure across the board, right? So just having that in mind, you know what you're doing. And then here's the Gon's list. This one played melody as well. It kind of just played like a Kurapika list, but you know, you do have Gon that can make your board bigger. You know, Killua just doing some shenanigans as well. If this character has 4,000 or more DP, switch to active. So it's not bad. I mean, very easy to pop off, especially on a rated go turn, so he can get at least some damage in the same turn when he comes in. So it just matters immensely. You know, you do also have this Gon that gives a, oh, this is the one that gives the DP plus. It's just a impact in this one. Choose up to 2 characters on the field. They gain, oh, they both generate DP just to get over those Kurapika players. You know, it all has some unified power behind it, and you could definitely win, especially with Fishing Rod being a great power card. And then you do have Whale Island, that's just, if Gon's on your field, the site produces an extra energy. For a 2 cost is really useful. You know, even if they suspend your board or something like that, which they can't really do here, it's just really solid. You know, you also have, if this character is 4,000 DP, it gains impact. You just have generally good impact characters. And, you know, you're just going to be applying pressure with impact for days. Now, we do have the hybrid list that I mentioned before. Or is this? Yeah, hybrid. You play Crollo and Lumi, the Zoldyck family combination, because you just have really good bodies in this deck. And you just can apply pressure and just do what you need to with the list. You know, being able to have Lumi being able to deal double damage. You have Crollo being able to do impact for game shenanigans that you really want to do. And, you know, this all matters and ends up being great value for players at the end of the day. And then here's another hybrid list. You know, Crollo, Lumi, Hisoka's in the list for that impact as well. You know, and then they have Uvolgan. This boy here, he's just a very, very powerful threat. He can just, your turn, he's, you know, 5k double damage. So yeah, just things to work with. Then here's slots for all you slots fanatics. You know, slots, again, all about gathering your, you know, pieces, the specified slots, and as long as you have at least the 5, you're really solid. But using Jaja Kin as your removal can help get rid of those Karapikas very easily. But you just play enough pieces and you're good to go, in my opinion. Strip of Beach plus Tomormon plus the Paladin Necklace, Angel's Breath, and Risky Dice are enough to remove anything with Bisky's effect. So just keep that in mind. Then you have like Bombers here. Bombers is such a low to the ground deck, it's not even funny. If you can get things underway and just having a good source of doing so, Bombers can just deal a lot of damage and your opponent just has to answer it. You know, Barbar being able to minus those things into ranges that you need, just being able to manipulate the board state in a way that you want to, you're just having a good time. You know, Jethro will help remove threats. So the deck really can do a lot of damage. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about deck building and everything like that. Release being a 3 cost 2 AP that can be 1 cost 3 cost, you know, 1 AP 3 cost removal, just if you have enough of the boys. You know, that's all you need sometimes. Now let's get into the JJK lists. So if you're taking a look here, we do have some just to talk about. First off, we do have, we do have our good boy Sukuna plus Kento Namami. Then you have Gojo. Then you do have our good friend Todo. Then we do have another list that I think actually does really well into the field, and that is none other than the Mahito list. Plus Megumin does quite well as well. I think all possibilities could win. It's just, again, you're still fighting an uphill battle against the top blue decks, and that's Sukuna and the none other than, you know, Kento Namami. I think the Kentos plus Sukuna list are just really solid across the board. So first off, we'll talk about Todo. You guys don't know what Todo can do. It's about the clapping. Just kidding. This thing can be, this character gets plus 2000 DP until the end of the turn, and you may switch one character on both players' front line of your opponent's front line and energy line, swap them. So you get to swap, and just now your opponent's just going to have some interesting combat tricks they have to deal with. And then you have like Miwa, that's just double attack, can attack twice, apply pressure, must block every turn if able, but being able to minus a threat off the board by the Miwa's skill is useful as well. And it's just when blocking, choose one of your opponent's characters on your opponent's field. It loses 1000 DP for each other, you know, high school affiliate card on the same line as this character until the end of turn. So just means a lot in some removal aspects. You know, taking a look though across the board, you can have a lot of synergy, you know, goodwill event, just being able to re-ride your Todo, because that's what you really want to be doing, is just re-riding the Todo for days. You know, that just matters so much. And then Boogie Woogie, just being able to remove a 5000 DP and then force your opponent to do something is always great. Then we do have the Mahito list here. This is similar to what I'm playing actually. I like the Jugo being a little bit down. They did up Ultimate Mechamaru, especially in this format, to be honest with you, because you're only one really playing purple. I would probably take out the Ultimate Mechamarus and just play Harmu, the one that reduces by 2 and is a, you know, from a 3 to a 2. And basically comes down for cheaper if your opponent is playing the other respective colors. And I think that might actually matter in some instances. Just because he is a 3000 DP, he can apply a little bit more pressure that way. But if you find out you're playing a lot more Mahito lists, you just compensate here. But he definitely won with his list here, and it's really solid actually. And the impact negate is really useful in my opinion. So especially against those, you know, Kento Nanami list or Sukuna lists that aren't going to be sniping right away, those extra nullify impacts just matter sometime, right? Then a Sukuna, this list got me first, and it's really solid. I recommend it. I really like it, just because if you get to 15, you get impact double damage, you know, impact from the Sukunas, and you just kind of play like a raidless style as well. It's just really solid in my opinion. Then you do have like the normal Sukuna Yuji Itadori's, just really solid across the board. And then they are playing Panda to nullify impact, which is really solid. And then you have like Shrine to do your job. And then taking a look here, like I said, another Kento Nanami list, just good stuff across the board. Then you have, you know, Megamine domain expansion, the Chimera Shadow Garden. Being able to give it multiple attacks is really solid, and getting second place with it is no silly nothing to really scoff at. It's just really good across the board. Then you do have Gojo Panda, as you know, because this is a really solid deck as well. Being able to have Gojo be able to play bodies for free is always fantastic. Purple Lightning is just ridiculous. What's really nasty about Gojo is you don't need to play characters. It's the fact that Gojo can literally use a domain expansion for free. No questions asked. 1 AP draw a card, domain expansion for free. Now I can still continue my turn. That is nutty in some circumstances. They can't answer the Gojo right away. Your opponent's going to have a bad time. The being able to do that domain expansion shenanigans is always good. But hopefully you found this video very informative. Guys, hopefully you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Comment down below what you guys are taking to your rare battles. It will definitely help to boost this video to other people that might need this help. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.